guys, happy Wednesday. Why do I keep doing jazz hands at the beginnings of my videos? Hi guys, it's Amber from the Sensible Mama, and today I thought we would have a little bit of fun talking about a topic that probably a lot of people have on their minds right now. This is going to be a long video, so I'm going to try to put timestamps down in the description box so that you can kind of jump around if you want to. What I want to talk about today is how to work with brands and be a content creator or influencer. I have so many notes here. So if you see me looking down a lot, that's why. The reason why I want to talk about this right now is I feel like now is one of those times where people are really thinking about how do I create different revenue streams for myself where I can keep making money if I'm laid off from my job, if I am forced to work from home for an indefinite amount of time because a global pandemic is going on. But I've certainly noticed as a brand owner myself that we are having an uptick in the number of people who are asking for collabs and sponsorships and things like that ever since the coronavirus hit the United States. And I can't help but think it's because people are trying to figure out how they can keep their income rolling even if they lose their job or are stuck at home. I do think, however, that particularly the beauty community, but also to some extent the diaper bag packing community, has glamorized being an influencer, being a content creator. It's made it look like this thing that's easy to do and it's quick and easy money, and it's neither of those two things. So this is going to be a pretty in-depth look into what you kind of have to do and the best practices for being successful at it, just considering that you're starting from day one. I see what I would call a little bit of entitlement in the influencer and content creator world. And what I mean by that is people seem to think that just because you have an Instagram or just because you have a YouTube channel, that brands should just want to send you free stuff just because of that. And that is a misconception. And I'm going to get into how to kind of correct that later and how to get yourself in a position to be someone that a brand would be excited to work with and be hunting you down. But what I want to make sure we're all aware of is that brands aren't just like trying to give away free stuff to anybody. They are being very, very precise about who they work with. And you need to have it really dialed in to prove to a brand why they would want to work with you. And what you might be thinking when I say that is, great, this is going to be all about how I have to grow my channel, grow my Instagram followers. I'm going to have to go buy a ring light and a really nice camera and buy studio time or whatever you're thinking. And the point is, you don't have to have all of those things. That is not the kind of value that I'm going to be talking about in this video. Having real value with great brands has less to do with the quality of your content or the number of followers that you have. It is more about proving that you are trustworthy to the brands who you're trying to work with and that you are authentic and credible to the audience that is watching you. And this is something that a brand owner is going to be looking at as well. Yes, the production value helps. Yes, having the followers helps, but I would argue that all you need to get started is trust and authenticity. And as you continue to gain those two things through your relationship with your brands and with your audience, you will find that you have the money and the resources to get those other things, like the production value and more followers. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be assuming that you are somebody who has 3,500 or less followers on your YouTube channel or your Instagram account. That's an arbitrary number, but I noticed for myself personally that it was around the time that I hit that number of followers that getting brand deals got easier for me. And I also find as a brand owner myself, when I see 3,500 followers or more, I'm more prone to work with those people as well. So it's just easier all around when you get to that point. So I want to focus on you guys who are less than, who have not reached that point yet. And this video is going to be trying to show you how you can get there and how you can still earn money, open up some more revenue streams for yourself, and earn a great reputation with the brands you want to work with before you reach that point. Lastly, if you're wondering why you might want to bother hearing what I have to say about this, I'm coming at this from a cool perspective because I started off being an influencer. I started off making a YouTube channel because I wanted to work with the brands that I already loved. And over time, I created relationships with those brands, ended up becoming a retailer and bringing those brands into my store. And now I have a very successful online baby boutique with a big community and just a family around it. And now I'm in a position to be doing sponsored videos and sponsored Instagram posts and things like that. So I have seen this industry from both sides, and I think that's a kind of unique perspective, and I'm going to be giving my perspective on both of those sides from here, drawing from my experience as an influencer, but giving my advice as a brand, if that makes sense. Let's go ahead and jump into the 5 tips. Tip number 1, and I hope that this doesn't like hurt anybody's feelings, but tip number 1 is to give up on the idea that you should be receiving things for free at first. It's easy when you're watching your favorite YouTubers thanking their sponsors for sending them this free merchandise or for actually paying them for the review. It's just really easy to think that that's how this is supposed to work. But if you go and you look in the early archives of those YouTubers whose channels you love so much, you will learn that they got their start doing their reviews on products that they had already spent their own money on. There are lots of benefits to starting doing your reviews, whether you're doing that on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, whatever. There is a really big benefit from starting out doing those reviews on things that you've purchased with your own money. For one, there is so much less pressure. Brands are gonna have expectations for what kind of effect your review has. They're going to be looking to see if you actually drew more sales or not, and that can be really stressful when you're first starting out. When you start your YouTube channel or wherever you're doing your reviews from on things that you've purchased your own money on, and there's nobody there like just analyzing everything about your content, it just is a better way to get into the industry in more of like a stress-free environment. 2, you have a chance to gain real authenticity with your audience. People have learned to be very suspect of people who are reviewing products online because everyone is aware of this whole influencer thing right now. And when they get the first whiff of like this might be a sponsored video or you might be a content creator for that brand, they tune you out. So it's a good chance to gain credibility and authenticity with your audience when for a while they're just seeing you review things that you already use and love, and you're not asking them to go click the link in your bio or use your code or whatever it is that you are promoting. And finally, it's a really quick and easy way to build a catalog of content. And I'm gonna talk about this later in the video, but you do need to prove when you wanna work with brands that you have already established yourself as someone with a little bit of experience who has already done some reviews. And the best way to do that really quickly without having to wait on brands to get back to you and send the product and approve your video and all of that stuff, like just find things around your house that you love using and post it on Instagram, post it on YouTube, post it on Facebook, get people excited about it. And now you have a whole bunch of curated content that you already created for free and quickly. Brands definitely want to see some evidence of your work ethic, of your capability to sell. Again, it's not going to be about, do you have the right lighting? Do you have the best camera? It's going to be, let me see what you're like. Let me see if your personality sort of jives with the tone and culture of my brand. Let me see just what you say in your reviews. And it's really good to already have all of that already out there. And especially if you know which brands you want to work with, you have a goal of working with these specific brands, start reviewing their stuff. Spend your money when you can on their things, even if it's small things, and keep doing reviews, because when you reach out to them and say, here's like all of my videos or all of my Instagram posts that I've done about your products, that speaks to brands. There's the saying that goes, when you hold your hand out, make sure there's something in it. And although I would never try to sit here and say that like you should only help people who can help you in return, you have to remember that doing these brand deals is a business engagement. So you do need to prove to this brand that they're going to get something out of sending you this free thing. A brand needs to feel like they can trust that whatever you produce for them is going to yield results. And they want to feel like they already have some sort of relationship with you. So as a quick story, when I launched Limea brand, this is a line of high-end leather, expensive diaper bags, I saw a huge upshoot in the number of emails and DMs and PMs that I was getting from people who wanted me to send them a free bag. And often the message only said that, like, hey, I love the Sensible Mama, want to send me a Limea bag to review? And there'd be no other information, and I'm going to get into that later in this video as well. But also I would look up this person's name and I would see they had never made a single purchase at the Sensible Mama. They weren't a member of my Facebook group. They didn't follow me on Instagram. They had never engaged meaningfully with any of my posts anywhere on social media, and they have never shouted out my business at all. And you compare that to someone whose Instagram handle I immediately recognize, who I can see has tagged us in a million posts on Instagram. I can see that they've shopped in our store. It just makes me want to work with that person a little bit more, because I feel like, all right, this person authentically loves my brand. Of course, they're going to do a good job representing it. And I can see that because they already have. Tip number 2, and I promise this video gets more instructional and less preachy from here. Tip number 2 is that you can work without brands without having collabs or sponsorships. Most brands these days have either a referral program or an affiliate program, often both, and these are ways that you can actually earn in-store cash or actual real cash in your bank account without ever having to pitch for a collaboration or a sponsorship. Referral programs and affiliate programs are basically the same thing. They're both where you get like a unique link that your audience can shop through, and when they do, you get some kind of financial reimbursement for that customer coming and shopping with that store. Usually it has to be a first-time customer, so it has to be someone who you actually brought to the brand who had never shopped with that brand before. But in case you're new to the terminology, a referral link or a referral program typically means you use that link and you get some form of in-store credit. You get like points to turn into cash in the store, which is how the Sensible Mamas referral program works. And that's how you kind of earn your commission. An affiliate program, on the other hand, typically means that you are getting cash back for those first-time customers that you bring to that brand. The great thing about referral programs is that although you're only getting store cash instead of cash in your bank account, is that you don't have to prove any kind of worth. You can usually just go right to their website. If you've made a purchase before, often it will display for you your unique referral code right there on the website. A lot of these brands are using the same app that we use at the Sensible Mama. You can find it really easily, and I'll put a little screen cap right here so you can see what that looks like at the Sensible Mama. You can share that referral link anywhere, and when people shop through it, you get those referral points. And here's the great part, is that you can use those points to purchase things from that store or that brand and get it for free and now make a review on that thing as well. So this is a way that you can technically get free stuff from brands to keep growing your content base without having to spend your money. It's brilliant. Affiliate programs are a little bit harder to get into. A lot of times brands are kind of picky about who they do that for because we are talking about real cash here. So sometimes there is like a minimum number of followers you can have, or you have to fill out some forms and paperwork and things like that. But it's a great goal to have to work toward that, because you can actually get, like I said, real cash in your bank account, and that is without ever having to get a collaboration or a sponsorship. The other great thing, if your goal is to eventually get free product from brands, is that using a referral link or an affiliate link gives you real statistical data that you can use. You'll be able to log into these programs for your affiliate or referral link, and you can see exactly how many customers have made a purchase through your link. And the reason why this is valuable is over time, after you have generated a lot of sales for a brand, you can then reach out to them. And I'm going to talk about how to reach out to brands later in this video, but you can reach out with real scientific data to say, since I started posting my referral link earlier this month, it's been 30 days and I have yielded 45 new customers to your store. That is more than one customer a day. Brands eat that up. Brands love hearing that stuff, and the more data that you can provide to a brand, the better the chances are that they're going to want to work with you. So getting involved in those referral programs, it's more than just getting free product. It's about positioning yourself to have real data so that you can be more compelling when you reach out to brands for like a big sponsored deal. The next thing, tip number 3, is kind of related, and it's called Amazon Storefront. This is a really cool thing that I was so lucky to get to be a part of when they first rolled it out. They sent out like invitations to people who were already sort of like influential online or whatever, but now I think that it's pretty easy to get involved in it. But basically all it means is you set up a storefront and you are given a referral link through Amazon. And the brilliant thing about this is that anything you click on Amazon, it automatically generates a referral link for you. So anything that you've purchased, even if you post on your own personal Facebook page and say like, hey, I bought this candle on Amazon. It smells really great. Here is a picture of it in my kitchen. And somebody says, oh, I love that. Like, where'd you get it? You can go to Amazon and get that referral link, share it with your friends, and you make a commission, a cash commission on anything that they purchase through that link. And the brilliant thing is that it's not just those things that you have given a link for. Let's say that like you give a link for this candle and your mom wants to buy the candle. She shops through your link, she adds the candle to her cart, and while she's there, she's like, oh, I'm gonna get me those shoes that I've been waiting on, and oh, it looks like we need some more paper towels for the house, and she adds all those things to her cart. To my knowledge, from looking at my own data, you get commissions on all of those things. So it's free for them to use, it's free for you to use, and you earn actual cash back given to you through Amazon. It is brilliant. If you go the Amazon storefront route like I have, they create, it almost looks like a little website for you, and you store all of your favorites from Amazon on there. And you can actually share with people the link to your Amazon storefront and they can shop it like it's a website. So again, like to anyone who thinks that you have to be having these like deals with brands in order to make money from your reviews, you absolutely don't. Like Amazon storefront, Amazon affiliate program is like a great way for you to make money. So I'm just pulling this up quickly because I feel bad like telling you to go do this and not giving you what are the criteria. It says here on Amazon's affiliate review process page that after you sign up, and you just fill out a form to sign up, our associates team will check your application once you've driven qualified sales. We require at least 3 within the first 180 days, which guys, that's nothing. You get 3 people to shop through your Amazon link in 180 days. You can do that. Anybody can do that. Like all you have to have is a Facebook page to do that. So in addition to that, they're also going to be asking for your social media links, which means your Facebook or your Instagram, YouTube, anything like that. And it says all sites must have robust original content, which goes back to point number 1 about just like doing your own reviews. A good rule of thumb is there should be at least 10 posts. They must be publicly available. That means not a closed group or like behind a paywall, and you can't be using unsuitable sites. Like I'm assuming you can't be showing like your OnlyFans account or something like that. So it's really easy to get involved, it seems, and you can start making money, cash in the bank, through Amazon. And while you're doing that, you're also curating a really nice collection of your own original reviews and content, which are going to be really helpful when you start reaching out to brands to do collaborations. Tip number 4 is be picky about who you decide to work with and what products you decide to review. There's this sort of like cringy misconception out there that drives me crazy that like people who are content creators or influencers cannot be trusted because all of their opinions have been purchased, and that's that. I can't be super mad about it because I know that there are influencers out there who just will review anything for the money and they will give it a glowing review. But the truth is, more often than not, most influencers and content creators care more about their credibility than about the money. And so a lot of them have a pretty rigorous sort of criteria for working with brands. It's sort of challenging when you want to work with a brand because on the one hand, you definitely want to be giving completely honest reviews because, like I said, your audience will sniff that out right away if you're not being authentic. But on the other hand, brands, although they will tell you that they're giving you this product in exchange for an honest review, there is generally an expectation that if you're going to receive this free product and do a review on it, that it's going to be mostly positive. Content creators find themselves in sort of this weird middle ground where you're trying to keep brands happy because trust, if you receive a free product from a brand and they tell you, give your honest opinion, and then you trash it, that brand is obviously never going to work with you again. And if you're in an industry like ours where all of the big players know each other, word is going to get around really fast and other brands aren't going to work with you either because it's considered rude to take something for free and then trash it on your YouTube channel. So you have to sort of figure out how to navigate this process, which can be really tricky. How do you make sure that your followers know that you're being real and authentic and that you actually like the things that you're reviewing while still making brands feel like they can send you things for free and not fear that you're just gonna like trash them? And this is going to be especially problematic if you are a smaller influencer because these smaller brands who are unknown, whose quality and customer service you know nothing about, are gonna be the ones reaching out to you. And to sidebar quickly, my very first brand collab pitch, the first brand that reached out to me and said, I love your channel and I want to send you something for free, was a brand who had a blow up potty seat for kids. And I was like, oh, I was so flattered that someone wanted to work with me. And I was like, sure, can I see a picture? Like, how does it work? What is it? And they send me this picture and it's literally a potty for potty training children that you blow up with your mouth, just like you blow up a pool float. And like the spigot, whatever this is, the valve was like really near where terrible things are happening on a potty. And I was like, no matter how flattered I am or excited I am at the prospect of doing a sponsored video, I have got to turn this down. I said no right away. Thank you, but no thank you, I can't. The second one that I got was from a brand who was like, I noticed you're a mom. I was wondering if I could send you my laundry solution. And I was like, of course, because I'm a mom and I'm a woman. Okay, fine, let's hear more. And it was actually like It was like a butter churn for washing your clothes. Like you had to take this thing outside and put your clothes in it and put your soap in it and like do this with your stuff. And this was a thing that I was like, I could see lots of utility for this for people who are camping, like do a lot of outdoors activities. When you lose your electricity, like this is not actually a funny product. It's a pretty cool product, but it's something that I would never use. So therefore I couldn't give a glowing review of it. So I had to turn that down. So those are two things. If you think it is absurd and you could never feel comfortable giving a positive review on it, go ahead and say no. And if it's something that seems cool, but something that you would never use and your audience would know, just know that you would not use that or enjoy it, go ahead and say no right away. Don't be afraid to say no. But then there's this middle ground of like, obviously if a really big brand, a very credible brand reaches out to you, you're gonna say yes. Like you need to say yes to that, take that opportunity. But there is a middle ground where it's kind of like, okay, this is a brand that looks cool. I see they have lots of positive reviews, but I've never heard of them before and I've never used them. And this is where you have to use a little bit of caution in the way you negotiate working with that brand. And here's what I have done since day one, and it's been very, very helpful and effective for me. So a brand reaches out to me that I've never heard of before. I think it's a product that I would use and enjoy and that my audience would believe that I was using and enjoying. So I write back to them and I say, hey, I'm very interested in working with you. Could you tell me a little bit more? When I get some more info, because usually that first email is very short and it's just, are you open to collaborations? Here's what we have. So you say, yes, I'm sort of interested. Can I have some more info? They send you some more info. And if you still feel interested and you still feel like it's something that's a good fit for you, the next thing that I say, and that I think is a good thing for you to say, is I don't do negative reviews on my channel as a rule. What I propose to you then is that you send me the product, let me have it for a couple of days and see if it's something that I can use and enjoy. If I love it and I know I can give a really great authentic review, I will do that for you. Just let's talk about what are the terms of the deal. If I use it and it's not for me, I just don't love it, I don't feel I can give a credible positive review on it, just send me a shipping label and I'll send it back to you. No harm, no foul. No one has to know that I even had this product. This is very professional. It makes brands happy. I have never had a single brand come back with anything other than, wow, that's fantastic. I would love that. Let's do that. Because they appreciate you saying, like, I care about your reputation and I don't want to give you a bad one. So if I don't love it, I don't think I deserve to keep it. So I'll just send it back to you if I don't love it. It is a win-win and it's a very professional and classy way to handle it. It has been, this is sort of just like a tangent, but it has been really frustrating to see YouTubers in this industry try to say or insinuate that they're the only ones who are believable or credible because they're not sponsored and they haven't had their opinions paid for by a brand. Frankly, that's an ignorant thing to say because that's not at all how the industry works. And I'm pointing this out because you should know this too as someone who wants to be an influencer. There are plenty of authentic, believable influencers out there who just have a really high bar for what they are willing to put on their channels, what they're willing to promote on their Instagram stories. And just because they don't go around talking about how many collaborations they've turned down this month doesn't mean that they're not doing that on the regular. And you should be doing that too. It is a very way to keep your personal brand healthy and also make brands want to work with you. Tip number 5 is please, please, please consider your tone and your demeanor when you approach these brands, when you're finally ready to pitch a collaboration deal. No brand, no matter how big or small they are, wants to feel like you think you're doing them a favor by doing a review. And I know that like there's a lot of backwards advice out there that says that you should like come across as really confident and like you are this, you know, hero without a cape who's here to save the day. I'm not faulting anyone for having that perspective and approaching brands that way because I have seen with my own eyes videos out there that tell you you should do this. And maybe this is just a personal choice for me, but I do not like it when I get an email from someone who has often has a smaller following than I do, who is acting like they're here to save the day and I should be so grateful that they want me to send them free product for them to review. Even if you are the bigger fish, and this is easy to happen like if you're working with an Etsy shop who's just getting started and you're proposing, you know, they send you something and you like review it on your Instagram stories or something. Even when you're the bigger fish, you have to keep in mind that you're still getting something for free and that thing that you're getting cost that person something. If it's like an Etsy shop where they're hand making stuff, that is their time, that is their energy, that's their resources. It cost something for the supplies to make that. They had to be away from their families to make that thing. Like there's just a whole bunch of stuff that they're losing when they give you this thing for free. And it's really important that you remember that. even the big brands, even someone like the Sensible Mama, like with our Limea bag brands and things like that, yes, there are margins baked in. Yes, I am making money on the money that I put out for these things, but that's still my money that I spent. And not only is the brand missing out on, they're losing the money that they put out to have that thing made, but they're also losing out on the sale that they could have had if they had sold that rather than giving it to you. And there's never an actual promise that giving you this thing will lead to sale. They're sending it out to you with a hope and a wish that taking this cost is going to multiply itself in sales. And sometimes you're asking that person to send you something that hurts to send. Sometimes you're asking them to send something when they can't afford to do it, but they're desperate for the exposure and they're just gonna hope that it pans out. And you need to think about that in the way that you address the brand. I was going to talk about this at the end, but I think now is the right time to talk about it. Like, you just need to be mindful that some of these brands, no matter how big they may seem now, probably took on a lot of debt when they got started. Remember that most brands aren't even profitable until year 5, and at that point, their margins are razor thin. And so you have to remember that between the debt and the personal cost and the time away from their families and everything, it's not as simple as just sending you a free product. There is a lot that is going into that, and you never know what company or brand might be just a breath away from closing their doors for good. And so when you reach out to them, just be sensitive to that. Don't assume that they're rolling in the cash, because they may not be. And that needs to be reflected in the way you speak to them. So here are some things that just like basically need to be in these emails. If you're gonna send a considerate professional email, don't DM on Instagram. It's not the best way to reach them. They're often gonna get routed to the request folder anyway, and they're never gonna see it. Find their professional email account and email them. And when you do, these are just the basic things that you need to have. So make sure it has a subject line and not just like, hey, love your brand. It needs to be something informative, like collaboration proposal between the Sensible Mama and Carrie Underwood, like whatever your name is, like put that in there, because now they at least have some context for what they're about to open up. At minimum, your email that you write, like the body of it, needs to have a salutation. Like, you can't start it off like it's a tweet. Like, you need to be, and I'm only saying this because I do get some emails like this, but like, it needs to have a salutation. Hello, you need to introduce yourself. My name is Amber. All that needs to be there. You need to give them a professional email address to respond to you from. If you're still using like your Gmail account that you started when you were 16 and it has sort of an immature sounding name, go ahead and just take the time and create a new Gmail account that has a professional sounding name to it. That helps. You need to link all of your social media in this email, and I find that this is something that people never do, and it's hard for a brand because I would like to just really quickly just boom, 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 click on your Instagram, click on your YouTube, click on your whatever else you're doing these days to promote. I don't want to have to go hunting for your information. And if you've not left me anything, like not even your Instagram handle, I'm just gonna, any brand is just gonna, they're not gonna, don't trust that they're going to take the time to find out who you are, is what I'm trying to say. So that's at a minimum, okay? But really, ideally, what you want to be presenting as well is just the really professional influencers. They have a cover letter that actually like shows some of their statistics. No one is expecting you to do that if you're just an amateur influencer getting your start. But it's really good to say like, hey, I've attached some screenshots below or I've attached the image files below of some of my favorite Instagram posts, and my review is in the caption. Here's a link to some of my YouTube videos, my most viewed ones. Just like little examples of your work goes a long way in terms of a brand deciding if you're a good fit for working with them. And of course, it's always a good idea to present any statistics that you have. Even if you haven't really got any like referral link or affiliate program statistics to share, even saying something like, hey, I started my channel 2 months ago and I already have 200 subscribers. I'm gaining roughly 100 subscribers a month. I'm really excited about this growth because it's all authentic. I'm not paying for my subscribers. Like, that information is good to have too, in lieu of like examples of your work. So I'm gonna go now. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. Make sure to leave any questions or comments that you have down below. And until next time, love you, mean it always, mwah, and I'll see you in the next one.